Right, I am checking my cam chain tension with my manual Rally Raid RP041 manual tensioners, I think they're called. I'll double check that and see. So I'm taking a T30 bit, and I've just checked all my clearances, my valve shim clearances, and I'm just going to take off the bridge here for the timing chain. I'm just going to crack it loose. Not a lot of space in here, so I'm going to take that out of the way. Okay, so if you're watching this and wondering how do I check my shims for clearance, I've got a video on that. I haven't had today, I have not had to take my cams out. I've only had to check my clearances, and I'm within spec on all of them, thank God. I've already done it once, but right, so here we are, top dead center on the front. I need to do the rear afterwards. I was talking about the rear in a previous video, so I've moved on to the front, and that's why I'm starting on the front. So here we go, top dead center on the front. I set this manual tensioner 4, 5, possibly 6 even thousand miles ago. Recommendation is 4 mil of play in between the cams at top dead center. I've already taken the calipers out and put them on the floor. Yes, I have. Right, so my method of doing this is quite rough and ready. 4 mil on the verniers, tighten it so that it cannot be moved. 4 mil. Now I'm trying to make it so that you guys can see this, but what I want to do is, as I said, I want 4 mil of play. Now that looks like 4 mil total up and down to me. So it's not going past that pin, is not going, if I put it in the middle, it's not going much lower or higher than this, and I'm really giving it some pressure. I'm really quite forceful with it. I think that's right. You want to be quite forceful with it, because you can imagine if you're not, if you're just sort of fiddly with it like, oh yeah, well the engine's going to give it a lot more pressure than that, especially when you're giving it some. So, you know, do it properly. Give it some, I'm not saying force it with all your might, but give it something to think about. So I'm happy with that. I've checked my clearances. I'm going to put that there, which is a bit stupid, a bit irresponsible, but I like to live dangerously. I'm just going to screw that in a little bit by hand, and I'm going to screw that one in a little bit by hand. I'm going to do it by hand because obviously I don't want to cross thread it, and I can feel it very nicely with my fingers to make sure that I don't. So I'm happy with that being 4 mil. I would rather it be slightly looser than too tight. So if I was struggling to reach 4 mil, I'd be more worried than if I was reaching 4 mil and possibly getting to 4.5 mil. Which, you know, if you quarter that and said, if I made that 5 mil, you say, oh, that's definitely not 4 mil, that's definitely 5 mil. Fine. 5mm. I'd rather it be 5 than 3. Get these finger tight. Make sure that's not going to fall into the engine. Take your cheap as chips, one of these. I could go and get my torque wrench, but it's all the way over there, so fuck it. Should you torque these down? Well, arguably yes, you should. I'm not going to do them tight. I'm going to do them moderately tight. It doesn't need to be super tight. There's no pressure coming into these. The chain will hit it slightly, but bit. Okay, I'm happy with that. Right, so that's the front one checked. So now I'm going to take my locking pin out. My little reminder to myself here to take this out. Where is my handle? Okay, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 25, yeah, I thought it was 25. I just counted it there because I was doing a video earlier and I kept forgetting to count it. I don't know why I didn't need to, I just wanted to. Right, so the locking pin is out. We're at top dead center on the front. We've got bits all under our feet, which is not good because I don't want to tread on anything. It's now 2:30. I haven't eaten anything for hours, I'm starving. Okay, always go anti-clockwise, guys, if you're doing this job. Taking the locking pin out. Spark plugs, obviously, 1 out per cylinder. You could do more, but I've done 1. If you were changing both, you could do both. Remember that spark plugs, you've got 2 that match and another 2 that match. They are different. The one in the center of the cylinder is different to the one on the outside of the cylinder. So my method, I use the cams as a rough guide, the dots, pardon me, and I go, oh, see, now I've still got that slightly wrong. I'm slightly late per the crank, but I thought I was going to be slightly early. If you're doing this, don't be tempted to go backwards. Go anti-clockwise. Just say to yourself, I've missed the train, but there's another one in 2 minutes. And look over, looking for your dots. I've gone past it again. Not forcing it, not manhandling it, just persuading it, just showing it the way.